TPCSI fans, you want to revolutionize your sports investing habits? Allow me to tell you about WagerWire. WagerWire is an app that helps you become a superior bettor by allowing you to sync all your sports books and track all your bets in one place. See your current action, your betting history, and stats. You could also sign up for sports books and collect bonus offers. Follow them at WagerWire on X, as it's the best account on the platform. Head to App Store or Play Store now and search WagerWire and download the app.
2,000 years long, we will never settle. Hard days, no way, with a heavy metal. No time, no fail, won't stop here. Like a torch to a flame when it burns hot. We won't stop. Come on, take me higher.
Good afternoon, sports fans from all around the globe. I am the host, Jeff Dawson, East Coast Sports Investors, and it's that time of the week. Yeah, this time last week, we were getting ready for Labor Day weekend, sipping on pina coladas, and no UFC, no octagon, no Apex. This week, we brought Lou back like with the UFC 1 week before Noche, but we're not putting the horse before the cart. We got a lot of action in the Apex this week live from Las Vegas. So we are super stoked to have the man, the myth, the legend, Mr. Lou Finocchiaro here with us at ECSI. First and foremost, a shout out to our proud sponsor and partnerships. It's WagerWire. If you haven't downloaded the app, shame on you. Head on over to Google Play, download it. It's free, guys. If it's free, it's for me. I promise myself, Travis, and Zach will take care of the rest of it. Viva Tequila Seltzer, CT Bets, the rest of that team and family, second to none. If you haven't tried it, head on over to where you buy adult beverages. And if they don't have Viva, ask them why. And last but not least, our new proud sponsorship and partnership, Atlanta Steaks and Seafood. You've heard of Omaha. I know Lou has. Well, Atlanta Steaks and Seafood. Terry Smith, second to none as well. Head on over to Facebook. Follow Terry Smith there. Ask him away. Tell him JD from ECSI sent you. Shout out to our producer today, Mr. Elijah Cox. Thank you so much for doing all of this. Without you, there'd be no show. So without further ado, the star of this show, Mr. Lou Finocchiaro.
No star, and surely more myth than legend. What I will say is those Viva Tequila Seltzers look pretty good. I need to back a few of those things, and you'll really get a lot of UFC information out of me. That said, we'll do the best we can do sober as a judge right here, Jeffrey. That's how I usually do it, at least until we're way deep into the fights. It's going to be a great card. Again, we're at the Apex, a little bit lesser known athletes, good matchups, fighters that need to fight. We started with 13 fights, have 11, of which 3 of the fights, now we've only got 2 that take place at 170 pounds or higher. So it's mostly smaller bodied athletes. We're going to hope to get violence in smaller packages this week.
Well, I always, as I always do on Monday, listen to your Sneak Peek podcast, and currently 15-9-2 plus 7.08 units, which is absolutely amazing. Seeing the favorites this year are hitting at over 63%, Lou.
They're hitting it over 67%, and it's usually 63, and so 4 or 5 points higher. That doesn't sound like much, but when you're a dog gambler like I am, it makes it difficult. We've had to adjust how we look at these fights, how we play them, how we bet them, until we can try and sense some dog recovery. Now, a couple fight cards ago, we killed it. 3 weeks ago, 2 fight cards ago, had a bunch of dogs, hit them big, and then 2 weeks ago, it wasn't so great. So we had a week off. We're fresh. Not sure how it's going to go this week. If I did, I'd be up 7 million units. But I got some really good thoughts on some fights, and I'm looking forward to sharing them with you.
With that week off, with this card, and of course, everyone's waiting to see what kind of show Dana and the UFC put on at the Sphere and Noche. Tuesday night's fights. Have you enjoyed what the product has looked like so far on the Tuesdays?
You mean the Dana White Contender Series, the Tuesday night
Yes.
scrap? No, I watched those. Those are great. It takes us into the discussion of fighter pay, which in the UFC is harrowingly, aggressively, obtusely low. And a good reason for the gross profit that the UFC is able to realize is that they really save an awful lot of money on dealing with fighters that are not coordinated, don't have a union. And so that's a tough aspect of this whole situation. And exhibit A to how they abuse their fighters is these contender series that each week in the fall, or the early fall, I should say, August, September, there's 4 or 5 fighters a week that will fight in the UFC for nothing to get into the UFC. And when you have 15, 20, 25 new bodies each year willing to fight low, it puts tremendous pressure on fighters that are not superstars, but have been in the organization for some time, trying to make 20,000 and 20,000 a fight, meaning 20 to show up and 20 to win. Well, there's pressure on them for somebody that'll fight for nothing. And thus, you see fight productions like this one this week that will have some new names and new faces on here. For me, it's great. It continues to cycle my database with fresh young talent, but I don't really look at them or begin to handicap them until they get to the UFC. So no betting for me for the Dana White Contender Series.
Well, I should say you will be breaking down 4 fights on this card, 2 fights, and then the co-main event, and then the main event here. The first fight that we have here, Jacqueline Amorim versus Vanessa Demopoulos, I think is how we say it, or close.
Very good. Holy moly, Elijah, you must be responsible for that.
Currently, I am on DraftKings right now. Amorim minus 310. You can get Vanessa at plus 250. I have an over of over 2.5 minus 220, Lou.
Yeah, why is that over 2.5 so cheap? Women's fights are usually 400 or 500. What's up? I'll tell you what's up. You got a gal in Amorim, the Brazilian, who is going to be a little bit taller, well younger, have reach advantage, and she has game, I think, and aggression over her more experienced UFC veteran, Demopoulos. Demopoulos is smaller. She's got some wins on her record that have come she's got some wins that have made my eyebrows raise. So maybe her record isn't quite what we think it is. She's 35, she's older, smaller, but she's got the veteran experience. This fight opened Amorim minus 500, and Demopoulos got steamed immediately now. Amorim's minus 310. And then you look at that total. So the way I'm going to attack this, rather than fight goes to the decision and do the typical thing, I think I read something different. I'm not reading their past history and how they look on paper. I'm trying to imagine and project each woman and their fight game in the cage on Saturday. And to me, I think that spells a very dominant performance by Ms. Amorim. And for that reason on DraftKings, if you go to fight props to win by finish, Amorim plus 220, that's where I'll put some investment this week.
I love where your eyes are there. It reminds me when I'm studying our numbers and our spreadsheets here, we look at team totals. We look at first fives. If we can take a big favorite and turn it into actually a dog or quote unquote plus money, that's why I say, Lou, all the time, where were we for all these decades? We were born alike here.
We weren't offered the menus and the opportunities back in the day, in the prehistoric days. I mean, look at the menus that these DraftKings and FanDuels and Caesars and national platforms give us is unbelievable. And for them, to me, my thought is for them to think they can put out 300-400 different fight derivatives and not get challenged by me is foolish. I'm going to challenge him many times. I'll beat him. Many times they'll beat me. That's the fun of it.
Second fight, Trevor Peek versus Yanel Ashmaz. And I probably butchered that one. I do apologize there. Peek minus 120. Yanel plus 100. Over under 2.5 rounds. Just minus 154. If you like the under, plus money at plus 120, Lou.
This is a pipe bomb against a hand grenade. Here's two dudes that weigh 155 pounds, and they're short. Both 5'9", both 29, both about the same reach, both about the same kind of fighter. What they prefer to do is go stand toe-to-toe and throw it down until one guy falls down. Peek is hugely aggressive. He's strong as a country mule, has a chin made of granite. He can't wrestle a lick, and he must keep a fight standing and swinging for him to have any chance. He is a gamer. He is willing, but he's not skilled. On the other side of the card, you got a guy that I just described in Ashmuz from Brazil. He's from Israel. He's an Israeli, and he's 1-1 in the UFC, fights the same way. That said, he has some wrestling chops, and with the wrestling is going to have the ability, if he gets rung up, to be able to take Peek down. I wouldn't be surprised, in order for him to be more effective striking, to start out early with a takedown of Peek and get on top to create momentum and at least the thought in Peek's mind that he can go for the legs, because that is where you open up your striking. Because Yanel Ashmuz is the more complete fighter, I believe he has advantage here. And we took him earlier in the week, plus 110. He's plus 100 now. But if you shop, you'll find a plus number. I wouldn't wait too long to take him, though.
So you're saying basically for Peek to have any kind of fighter's chance, obviously has to stay in the center of the ring, has to strike. Once he gets down into
the fight's over.
The fight's over. Okay.
That's my take on it. Most people, there are many prognosticators taking Peek because he's so strong and aggressive and such, and they think he'll overpower Ashmuz. I beg to differ. I'm going to go with mixed martial arts skill over brute force.
The co-main event, Jessica Andrade versus Natalia Silva. Right now, Silva minus 310, Andrade plus 250, over under 2.5. Minus 180 to the over. If you like the under, Lou, it's plus 140.
Yeah, great fight. And Andrade is a future Hall of Famer in the UFC. She's competed at championship level on 3 divisions. She's been a champion at 1 division and competed for championships on 2. So she bounces between now 115 and 125, no longer going all the way up to 135 because of the acumen of the fighters today at that size. So she fights below, and this is her first fight in 2 fights at 125. She's been fighting at 115. Now, she is undersized at 115, but she's hugely powerful and aggressive and great jiu-jitsu. When she moves to 25, her power increases, but her size differential usually is magnified, and that's what's happening here. So we have a legend in the game. She's 32, but in fight years, she's 35. And when moving up in weight against a fighter who is well younger, taller, longer, more athletic, still has zeal, crispness, and quickness, it's a hard task for Andrade. She has the experience, yes. She's been in with better, without question. Step up for Silva, no doubt about it. But Silva is a future champion. She's surely a future top 5 athlete. I think she will be after this fight. Speed kills. Youth kills. And that's exactly what Ms. Silva has over Andrade. And I see Natalia Silva winning a decision in this fight.
I agree 100% with you on that one. The main event, Gilbert Burns, Sean Brady. Currently at DraftKings as we speak, Mr. Brady minus 185, Gilbert Burns plus 154, and over under of 4.5 rounds. If you like the over, currently minus 130. If you think it goes under 4.5, currently at plus 100, Lou.
Yeah. I believe the sneak teep was the sneak teep released this week, the total in this fight?
No, you went with Ashmu.
I went with Ashmuz. Yes. Okay. So here's another fight that I have released. Unfortunately, it's not available. When this fight opened, Burns and Brady were a pick, and the total was 3.5 minus 180 to the over. That was wrong. That was wrong from the beginning. I wrote so in my VSIN article that was posted on their digital magazine. It published Tuesday. At that time, the price was over 3.5 minus 180. We jumped that in a parlay with Natalia Silva, and that parlay pays just over even money, like plus 110 or so. Again, that's a benefit of subscribing to the VSIN magazine. On that medium, I'm up 9.5 units, 21 and 17. So those you get just like every week. The sneak teep in it often align. They don't this week. However, getting back to the fight, 4.5 is the correct number. This is probably going to decision. You got two really good athletes. However, Brady and Burns start as a pick. Brady's gotten the money because he's well younger. Burns 38 years old, Brady 31. Both great BJJ guys. Brady, more mixed martial arts BJJ. Gil Burns, traditional Brazilian BJJ. And we're in an MMA fight. So clearly the intention of Brady from Philly will be to try and get this fight close against the fence and on the floor. He wants to grapple with Gil Burns. He's younger, thinks he can outgas him in a 5-round fight. Gil Burns wants to keep this standing because he has certain striking advantage over Brady. Been in with better, been in with the elite. He's fought at 2 divisions. But he's a little undersized at 170 because he's fought primarily at 155. Fighting now at 38, up a weight class, you can understand. So he's lost maybe a little of his zip, but he comes in loser of his last 3. He's desperate. Feels like with a win here, he's projected right back into the thick of the division, which he is. Brady has had nose operations, and if you attack his face, the middle of his face, and his strike defense is not average, it's below average. So to attack that face when he comes in to grapple and punish him with power shots to the face is the way to beat him, because it busts up that nose. It makes it hard for him to breathe, and he can gas. This is going to be a compelling, awesome fight. I don't really have a position on it on the side, already made the over 3.5 and feel like there's a reason to listen to Sneak Teep and to tune in to me early in the week. For those that missed it, there's Ash Moose and other thoughts, Amorum via the finish inside the distance that we've discussed today, and you can pursue those avenues.
I can't wait for Saturday, obviously. Before we let you go,
turn off those college football games, Jeff, and make sure you're watching the UFC now. I'm just giving you heat.
I promise you I will. I have to ask you this, because next Saturday, the anticipation is second to none. I know Dana and UFC has had some monster cards, must watch, the world stops. But we're entering something in the sphere, something second to none. No one knows what to expect. Can you give us a little sneak peek on what your expectations are? And then you have the card already. What should the average person be getting ready to anticipate for next Saturday?
This is a terrible hype job for that event. I got to leave that to UFC. I'm very clinical how I look at this. I don't care about production and feathers and, flamingos that come out with you when you enter the cage. And what I think is going to be Noche is it's going to be a production. Okay. However, being a young man that learned the fight game in Tucson, Arizona, going to the boxing matches through college, I am a Mexican fight fan. I consider myself Mexican for that matter, because I'm so indoctrinated into this culture. And with that in mind, what I'm most proud about is the fact that this theme will be Mexican. And so he is going to put a great production together. He is going to do an unbelievable tribute to Mexican heritage and fighting that I think is going to be really, really a proud moment for the heritage, history, and overall acumen of Mexican fighting, who I can't say enough about. So it should be really awesome. This area here, I live in Phoenix, we're going to be totally soaking it up. The Mexicans in Las Vegas, Southern California, it's going to be a very proud event, but it's going to be tainted Mexican. It's financed by the Saudis. They didn't leave any expenses out. What to expect outside of fights, once we get there, I have no clue. I can't wait to watch myself.
Well, we can't wait as always, but we got this card here, and yes, I will be watching the UFC on Saturday night. You can trust me on that there. As we always end the fight, we throw it back to you in the octagon. Everyone knows on Twitter, they can follow you at Gamb. You have your podcast on Monday. You have your podcast on Friday. Guest appearances on VSiN and Sports Grid, but I leave that to you. The stage or the octagon is yours now, Lou.
Yeah, what I would like to say is now that football's starting up, you got college football, UFC, NFL, they're spread out over days. We've been waiting to bet for a long time. Don't be the bookmaker's best friend and go out there and fire your first weekend and make tons of bets, because you're playing into their hands. Remember, shoot with a rifle and make it, if you're looking to have fun and you're going to regard it like a fishing trip, then go ahead and blow your money. But if you're a competitor and you want to win money, be selective, do some study, do your own work, and go easy. It's a marathon, not a sprint.
The best in the business, Mr. Lou Finocchiaro. Next Thursday, 3:30 p.m. Eastern, we will be back here. Lou will be breaking down Noche live from the Spear. I want to give a special thanks to Elijah again. Great job. Shout out to Amber. Thank you so much. Amber says, Lou, I love his passion. So again, we love your passion as well. Fans
Thank
from
you.
all over. So from myself, Jeff Dawson at EC Sports Invest, the one and only Lou Finocchiaro at Gamb. Go follow him. Go watch him on VSiN. Go watch him on Sports Grid. Hey guys, it's showtime. Let's enjoy it. And as Lou says, it's a marathon, not a sprint. Be careful, and we will see you soon.